Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and in collaboration with the Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, today we're driving this 1966 Series 2 Ferrari 330GT 2+2. This is the successor to the 250 GT, which you saw me drive on Winding Road magazine. If you haven't seen that, you've got to see what the 250 PF Coupe drives like. That had a 2.9 liter Colombo V12. This has a 4 liter Colombo V12, and when we get out and drive, we'll notice the torque. It's a Series 2. The easiest way to tell the difference between a Series 1 and a Series 2 is going to be from these headlights. This has the standard 2 headlight design. The Series 1 had a quad headlight design, and actually, in my opinion, I might catch a lot of flack for this, looked very French. It looked like a Citroen or a Peugeot or something, but this is classically Ferrari, and this is the kind of car that Enzo Ferrari himself liked to drive. In fact, he wasn't out there driving short wheelbase 250s. He liked Grand Tours. A keen eye might have already picked up that this car is a little rough around the edges. This isn't like a perfectly restored car. It's got 30,000 miles on it. It's got some scuffs and nicks and things, but it looks like it's in incredible mechanical shape. It runs phenomenally well. I'm really excited to take you out for a drive in it, but I wanted to show you around the car first because, you know, when we think about Ferrari, we're always thinking about like the crazy cars, the Testarossas, the F40s, the F50s, but Ferrari was a grand touring company as well. They made cars for people to use every day, just like this. In the back, there's like reasonable legroom in the back seats. And of course, you've got your ashtray in the center. This one, you can see it's a little worn. I mean, that's how you can tell that this is pretty original. And somebody could buy this one and just drive it, you know, make sure that it's not leaky and it's all up to snuff. But you could also take this car and do a full-blown crazy restoration and make it look better than it ever did. And if you're ever in a bind and you need to fuel up your 330, all you do, pull that little guy, up pops the fuel filler cap with our prancing horse, and there you go. You fill it straight from there. In the trunk, we have a ton of storage space, and of course, a beautiful leather toolkit. We'll put a license plate on it so we can go out for a drive, but first, let me show you under the hood, because you know what? Nothing gets me going like a Ferrari V12. I know I'm a Porsche guy, but I like Ferrari V12s. All right, under here, to pop the hood, right here by the e-brake, pop that guy, up comes the hood. We push in here, and that will just stay up on its own. But under here we have the 4-liter Ferrari Colombo V12. And you might be wondering, why isn't it called a 400 GT if it's a 4-liter? Well, 330 is the displacement of each cylinder in cubic centimeters. So that is why it is called the 330 GT. In fact, it is telling you the displacement, but instead of the entire engine, it's telling you each cylinder. We've got 3 carburetors, 2 monster oil filters, pretty characteristic of Ferrari at the time, but you know what? I'm sick of talking. I want to hear this thing drive. Normally, to get these Ferraris started, you reach through the steering wheel into the ignition, turn it until you hear the fuel pump, and crank it over. This one, I don't know, maybe this is security or maybe it was for other reasons, but the ignition on this car is actually down here. So we're going to turn it, you're going to hear the fuel pump. We're going to wait till that stops or slows down. We can clutch in. Fires right to life. We see our oil pressure building. We've got all the necessary gauges that we need. We've got our oil temp, which is going to come up, hopefully. It takes a lot of heat to get the oil temp gauge in these Ferraris going. We've got our water temp, which is already going, amps, fuel. We've got some fuel. I just put some in. But before we go up, I need you to hear what this sounds like from behind the car, because this is what it's all about, this idle. Oh, that's so good. Now, had we not just been out driving, I would say, you know, we got to sit here and let it warm up a little bit. You don't want to just go drive these cars. These old cars want to sit, get a little heat in them, and, you know, we're already there. But if you do buy one of these cars, you are driving one of these cars, you're going to want to let it sit for a bit. All right, let's buckle in. Good deal. Let's make it come off in case anything bad happens. That's always good to know. You want to know you can get out of your buckle. Okay, another thing about the Series 2 is that this has a 5-speed manual. So the reverse is to the right and back, like a 6 gear. And unlike the Ferrari 250 GTs, this has nice springy gearbox, so it's very easy to get into first and know that you're in first and not third. So it kind of guides its own way into third. So let's go drive it. super light. We've got this nice big wood grain steering wheel. I love the way the inputs respond. Oh. What's especially wild is that I just drove a 63 Aston Martin DB4, and the difference between these cars, they're very different, but you can tell they were kind of around the same time period in the way they drive, but I think this one's a little lighter feeling. Taking up one exit on the highway, just see how she runs. Fifth gear is a welcome design. Now, the 4-speed Series 1 did have an overdrive, but it was electronic overdrive. It's a switch that you pull, whereas this, we've got a proper 5-speed on the stick. Low end torque of this 4-liter really makes a difference. Nothing makes you drive defensively like being in a vintage Ferrari from the 1960s. Hey guys, that is the 1966 Ferrari 330GT 2+2. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and of course, thank you to the Bond Group and the Patreon supporters for making this content possible. Now we're gonna be ultra defensive. Make sure nobody touches this beauty. I'll see you in the next one. I like your moose. I've never pulled up to the Moose Volvo in an actual Ferrari. That was wonderful.